Hey parents, hopefully your Monday is going really well. I know the sunshine out there is doing some good for my soul. Hopefully it is for yours as well. And you can send the kids outside, which has got to be awesome. Wanted to just come in and chat with you a little bit this week. In terms of updates, there's really not too many new things going on in kids ministry. I'm just very excited to see y'all again in person. I would love to point you to our YouTube channel. Just as you know by now, I've got lots of videos for your kids, various activities and story time. Greg and I just recorded Family Ministry Live, which is something that we do every Monday at 11. And you can go back and rewatch that. We talk about why we do what we do as family ministry here at Hayes Hills. We talked about events today, what events we do, why we do them, and we're looking forward to that. Next week, we're going to probably do one, or if it's not next week, at least sometime soon, about us. So you can just hear more about our personal lives, a little bit more, get to know us better. So if you had any particular things you'd like to know about either one of us, shoot me an email, ethan@hayeshills.com, with any questions. We'd love to hear them. In terms of our discussion of teaching your kids about the Bible while you're at home, just want to share with you a little bit. The video for the Bible Project video, or the link for the Bible Project video, will be in the description below. And what we're looking at this week, I've got my Bible right here. The Bible is really big, right? Full of lots of different books. It's one book, but in reality, there's lots of smaller books in here. This Bible's more like a library, isn't it? Lots of books. And when you're thinking about the Bible and reading it, it's kind of daunting sometimes to think about, how do I read all of it? The cool thing is that God's Spirit is in you. God's Spirit's also the one who wrote it, inspired the authors to write it. So the author of the book is in you if you're a believer in Christ. But one thing I want to just highlight, and the Bible Project video focuses on, is genres of literature. So I'm sure that's a word you probably remember from English class. But different types of writing come in different styles. So there are letters, there are stories, there are poems, all sorts of different things. And just like that's true of literature you would read today, that's true of the Bible. And if you have a cookbook at your house, which I'm sure most of you do, you understand that you read that cookbook very literally. You have to follow the directions, especially if you're baking. If you don't use the exact correct ingredients in baking, then you're toast. If you read a recipe and it says 1 stick of butter for these cookies, you have to use exactly 1 stick of butter. Not enough or more than a stick, and you're going to mess up the recipe. And that's true of every recipe in that book. You got to be literal. However, if you have a love letter from your spouse, it might say something like, "My heart is exploding with love for you." And you're not going to read that love letter literally. You're going to read it differently than you read the cookbook, because you understand that the organ that pumps blood through your spouse's heart has not exploded like a bomb inside of their chest. Their heart is still beating and it is good to go. But when they say, "My heart explodes with love for you," they're talking in a figurative way about the emotions and the meaning of their feelings towards you and your relationship. So you understand that a love letter is read with figurative language, where a cookbook is read with literal language. And the Bible is very similar. There's different types of literature, different types of stories and poems in the Bible. And so when we come to read it and understand what God is saying, we have to ask ourselves the question, what kind of literature am I reading? Is this a part of the Bible, like one of the Gospels or the book of Genesis, that's a story, primarily a story? And do I need to read it the way that I would read any other story out there, thinking about plot and characters? That's actually what our Wednesday night Lessons for Awana is all about, how to study the Bible. Or is this one of the Psalms where it's a poem? So I need to understand that there's lots of figurative language here. Is it Revelation that's talking about the end times and there's full of signs and symbols and not everything is meant to be taken exactly literally? Is it one of Paul's letters and something that I should read and understand it's the ancient version of a text message? So Paul is talking in a text or an email, and how should I understand it? All kinds of different literature. in our Bible. The Bible Project video goes into a lot more detail, and I'll encourage you to go there. But I just want you to think about the fact that when you come to the Bible, it can be a little daunting, but you already know how to read it. You know how to read a cookbook, you know how to read a love letter, and you know how to read the Bible. I hope you guys have a great day, and Ethan@HazHills.com is my email. Please send me any questions you have about our Family Ministry Live or anything we're talking about in these updates, or just anything. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week.